starting Cooper over Trey Lance?
Well, it just confirms the Trey Lance acquisition and the process leading up to it, and most importantly after it, has been a total failure. They traded a 4th-round pick for this player, a player who, when they got him, had started 4 games. One game, he broke his leg a few plays in, throw it out. Another game was the week 1 game in that terrible rainstorm. You don't have to throw that out, but it wasn't, I think, a fair reading of it. And then 2 games his rookie year. One of those games, he's bad, 15 of 29 for 192, 0 touchdowns, 1 pick, but did run for 90. And the other game was really good. 16 of 23, 250, a 116 rating, ran for 30 yards. That's his whole career. You traded a 4th-round pick for him. The Dallas Cowboys know better than any team in the league what a 4th-round pick's worth. Dak was a 4th-round pick. Dalton Schultz, 4th-round pick. Ferguson, their tight end, now is a 4th-round pick. Brew's favorite running back of all time, Tony Pollard, was a 4th-round pick. They gave that pick up to get this player. They're now saying, even with a week to prepare, I understand him not being your backup. Don't want to throw him in. He hasn't played enough. But if we have a week to get him ready, he's not worth taking a look at. Okay, so maybe he's just awful. Maybe he's just terrible. Shouldn't have been drafted. Then why is he on the roster?
Yeah.
It's not a developmental player that you're not developing. His contract's up after this year. You're not bringing him back. Like, what are we doing? Either
he's just the emergency QB.
No, but he clearly can't be. My point is, if he is, under these circumstances, not good enough to start over Cooper Rush, who, during that vaunted 4-game winning streak, had 5 touchdowns, 3 picks, an 80 rating, and the defense allowed 13 points per game. It was a defense-led winning streak. To give him a look, then he's not good enough to be your emergency quarterback. You don't trust him to play. So that's, it makes no sense. Why is he on your roster if he can't play in this spot?
Look, I agreed with you yesterday when you said, they should be playing Trey Lance. But I will say this. I think it's easy for us who are on the outside who have written off the Cowboys and said they're done no matter what, to say, go ahead and play Trey Lance, see what you got. If he's good, maybe you found something or you trade him, get something back for him. If he's bad, you get a better draft pick. But in that locker room, Mike McCarthy, who's fighting, probably going to get fired anyway, but fighting for his job, it's not as easy when you're in their place to just give up, as you were saying yesterday. Yeah. So if I'm a player in that locker room, they're only 3-5. I mean, we know that's not good. But 3 and 5, you're not out of it at 3 and 5.
But then why is he on the roster is my question.
Well, I'm just saying, as a player in that locker room, as a coach on that staff, if I see Trey Lance looking like garbage every day in practice and Cooper Rush looks decent and we had a win streak with him a couple years ago, I'm like, give us Cooper Rush. We're 3-5. We got a shot at this. So I get why they're playing him.
Yeah, it's not a mistake because you're like, as you're alluding to, like you still believe within that building that you got a chance to turn some things around or at least maintain some type of opportunity, optimism. With your point that you're making, he's not good enough. Because if he were, he would be the one that they turn to. Yeah. If he were, he would be the guy that easily, if Dak gets hurt right now in this situation, which he is, it's like, you know what? Let's give him a chance. The fact that they're not even considering that, the fact that they are saying that Cooper Rush, we're not going to change anything, what Mike McCarthy is clearly saying, if we went to this other guy, our offense would have to change into something completely different. And that's not what we're trying to do.
So we saw Trey Lance throw, was it 4 or 5 interceptions?
I think it was 5.
I think it was 5 too.
And he threw for 400 yards, didn't he?
Yes.
But it was 5 interceptions.
Did we recount the other team's yards?
No, it was
a record in both directions. Yeah.
So if you throw 5 interceptions, that was certainly a long tryout. And it felt like the question that we came on was like, was that the end of the Trey Lance era? The thing I think you're saying is Jerry Jones bragged about this.
Yes.
Jerry Jones is like, you know why? I'm the guy. I'm the decider. You don't have to, quorum.
It's just my point is, if this is the case, then the Cowboys have a 52-man roster and everyone else has a 53-man roster.
Yeah.
And it's to serve, it's because the owner doesn't want to admit a mistake because there's
Correct.
also
That's
the
right.
GM.
Yeah.
So again, I know I always end up looking like the Trey Lance guy. And I didn't watch him in North Dakota State, and he's barely played in the pros.
I
We've all
did.
seen the same thing. What'd you say?
I watched
you
him,
did
and I
watch him
knew
in
there
North
was
Dakota
flaws.
State? Got it. But so this to me is just more about process. It's more about exactly what Wild said. Jerry made a big show of the fact, I don't have to talk to Mike McCarthy. I don't talk to anyone. I went out and got him.
Right.
Probably paid 150 cents on the dollar. Was anyone else offering a 5? Was anyone else offering a 6? And now they're saying he's a sunk cost. Because I think that we have a fonder recollection of Cooper Rush's level of play during that winning streak than the actual game footage would tell you. They allowed 17, 16, 10, and 10.
It did feel in the moment, though, like he was playing okay.
Yeah, a little buzz.
Pretty well. Yeah,
he was 190 yards. He was
the
one
numbers
touchdown a
made it
game, 3 picks over the.
He didn't hurt them,
games.
though.
No, he didn't kill him. But they
Did
don't
the
have
picks
that.
come at the end? Sorry to put you on this. I don't remember that. But did the picks all come in a bunch? Like when the Cooper Rush kind of.
No, this was
Yeah,
just.
he had
mode?
one really bad game.
That's
right?
not included in this.
Oh, okay.
I'm just because they won 4 straight. Then he had the brutal game they lost, and Dak came back.
Yeah.
I'm talking about in the winning streak.
games, okay.
During 4-0, he had 5 touchdowns, 3 picks.
Gotcha.
And an 81 rating. It was just that the Cowboys. Remember, week 1 of the year, they lost 19-3 to the Bucs. People were down. They had just lost that mortifying playoff game where Dak slid early was that year. And so then he comes in, they win these games. People were like, he's a winner. But I don't think they're going to. He completed 58% of his passes.
Yeah.
He wasn't even like the backup that's complete 65%, but they're all 3 yards at a time. He was inaccurate, not that good. And this kid, you gave up something for, and this is the other key point. Sorry. There's no more developing him. This is the last year of his contract.
He just might not be good.
So
let's get to Dak.
My man quitting on these dudes. I've had a hamstring plenty of times, and I'm back the next week. I'm not Tyreek Hill. It don't take no 4 weeks for you to heal from no hamstring. You're not Lamar Jackson. Dak Prescott, with the way the season is going right now, we heard him on the sideline what he said. Dak is quitting on these boys. You are not. Is it off the bone or something? Because there's no way you're telling me that you're out 4 weeks with no answers, no nothing, no fight, no nothing for a hamstring, and you're a quarterback.
Okay, Greg, is that fair?
No. Initially, when I first saw Dak on the sideline and then CD go down, that was my takeaway.
It was.
They're quitting. That was initially my takeaway. The moment I heard more in that he might go on IR, you automatically, from a player's perspective, I have to be more like, this is more serious than what I originally thought. Because now it's like, okay, he's seriously injured. Because I don't believe that Dak Prescott believes, to your point earlier, that their season is over. I do believe he believes that they're not a really good football team, but that doesn't mean he won't go out there and compete with those guys who are out there. And so for me, I think it's too far to say that he's quitting on his team. Although that was my first takeaway.
Can I ask a question, though, from a just pure kind of physiology standpoint, athlete body? That a hamstring that would knock Tyreek Hill, as he mentioned, out for a month, is it legit to say that a quarterback that's more of a pocket-style quarterback like Dak has turned into could play on that exact same injury after 2 weeks? Because I think James's point was essentially he doesn't need his hamstrings the way fast guys do, and so he should be able to play compromised and not guarantee your shelf for a month. Because the IR means you can't come back. He's saying test it each week, essentially.
Yeah, so the thing about hamstrings, because most athletes who have played ball has had a hamstring, they pull at you. And so, it's not as simple as, because I had this talk with Ramsey. I'm like, man, he's a quarterback. He can sit in the pocket and just, But the more I think about it, I've had a hamstring. As James Jones has alluded, he had a hamstring too. When James Jones first got to Green Bay, I was out the first 2 weeks because of a hamstring. And I tried to come back the week prior, and I made it worse, and I had to sit out another week. So if you are dealing with a severe hamstring, it kind of pulls up on you and you can't really move.
Yeah,
So
but
the
Greg, just to-
movement in the pocket is minimized already with Dak. It becomes even less with the hamstring.
But if your speed goes from here to here.
Thanks for watching. Subscribe here to get more from the show and to check out clips from other shows on FS1.